Bookie Caribbean White is in the studio.
You know, I was gonna say, when are you going to announce me?
Okay, with your
situations.
Indeed, she just made a grand entrance.
I'm sorry I'm late. I thought today was Sunday. And
you know the funny thing is, Bookie's actually not joking. Just in case you think he's trying.
I woke up and I says, Sunday. We have 2 more days of holiday.
You work the whole weekend. Like, you stayed working.
I like your work though, Bookie.
Yeah. No, actually don't.
Why?
It's very stressful.
It's very stressful. Trust me on that.
You're getting the coins, aren't you?
Yeah, well, yeah. Obviously, you have to work for the money. Yeah.
Yeah, there's pressure.
There's a lot.
That's okay. When the money comes in, you smile.
I'm sure you wouldn't mind.
Is it ever enough?
No, I don't think it's ever enough. All right, ladies, I think we should be wrapping up the scoop right here because we have a conversation to start. Like I said, we do have the BBC crew in the studio, and we're going to be talking about masculinity. They would like to hear from us ladies, not just us in the studio, but from the ladies out there, and even the guys as well. Please feel free to join the conversation. It's about to be a very heated conversation. See the way Bookie just looked at me when I said masculinity.
I always feel like doing like a pose, like flexing my muscles.
Yeah.
When you hear masculinity.
I think my voice is good enough, but let's talk about masculinity.
Of course you like that. All right, let's take a quick break, and when we come back, we're definitely going to be diving into that conversation. It's Steal the Dish right here on Lagos Talks 91.3. And this is the moment that you've all been waiting for, of course. It's time for us to get into the other part of the dish for today, where we're going to be having a very exciting conversation. Like I said, we have the BBC crew in the studio, and here with us is Tim Samuels. Welcome.
Hello, do I call you Auntie?
Please call me Auntie if you want. If you want to.
Is that a sign of respect?
Yes, it is.
Or is it emasculation?
Oh, that's a good question.
Wow.
In this case, it's
So
a
Tim
sign
Samuels.
of respect.
Right.
Sorry?
In this case, it's a
Sign
sign
of
of
respect.
respect.
Sign of respect.
Right.
All right, thank you. So Tim Samuels is here, and Bonnie is somewhere in the studio. He's probably not going to talk, but he's here as well. So thank you so much for coming
Thank you
to
for
Lagos Talks.
we've just come in from London and we've come straight to the dish.
That's fabulous.
That's it.
The first place to
that's
come
all we
to.
need to do. Yeah.
Beautiful.
Amazing.
I know. Now let's get into it. We're going to talk about masculinity.
In Nigeria, that's
Good.
where
Thank God
you'll
for that.
find it.
Yeah.
Definitely,
Because
definitely.
what that man told you, I'm sure it was a man. Told you this best
Yes.
place for men, right?
Yeah.
It is to be in Nigeria. That was a man.
It was a man.
Yeah.
He said it was a man, but before we get into that, let's talk about what masculinity is in the first place. Okay, from a dictionary standpoint, it's the possession of the qualities traditionally associated with men. Before we get into the conversation, I would ask everyone, do you think masculinity is based on society? Is it the same thing everywhere? Or it's based on the society that you live in?
I would like to say that, well, from my purview, and basically growing up within this culture, and also been exposed to the English culture as well. In Nigeria,
What was that noise?
in Nigeria, it's our culture. It's interwoven into the culture. We're a patriarchal society, so to speak. The word of the man is law. In the village, in the family circle, you have instances whereby you've got a person dying, and his first child, so to speak, is female. But somewhere along the line, she's not even worthy, even till this day, to be able to speak on behalf of the family. They're going to look for a slightly older male person or somebody within her age range to be the spokesperson for the family. And this is just a tip of the iceberg with regards to the examples. There's so many. I'm sure all of us have experienced it in one form or the other in terms of how this patriarchal attitude comes off, and it's interwoven into the fabrics of our culture.
Okay, now I'll just ask generally, off the top of your heads, what qualities do you see and then refer it to as masculine? What qualities in men? And I'm asking this because over the years, I believe things have changed. What was termed as masculine in our fathers, maybe grandfathers' days or our fathers' days, is sort of different now. Because to an extent, there are certain things that only men should have been doing that now women are doing. So to you, what qualities makes a man masculine? What are those qualities?
Drinking beer.
Oh God. So Buki,
Well, I unfortunately don't think that Nigeria is very different from anywhere else in the world.
okay.
I think that men are the same across the globe. It might be slightly different based on culture and whatnot. India, you know, Afghanistan, wherever. Sorry. A man is a man. And in terms of what's your definition of what makes a man's a man that has certain body parts. We won't go into detail.
Okay.
Number two.
Time right here.
Yeah. Number two, he can cater, provide, hunt, and feed his family. Yeah. He earns money, I guess. But then again, we're seeing a major shift these days because women are a little bit more outspoken, especially here in Nigeria now. It's a different ball game now. You have a lot of women actually running their families. You have a lot of women not even necessarily wanting to be married and happy being alone and, you know, working and doing all the man stuff and taking care of herself. So, but then again, that's everywhere. I really don't want us to stereotype Nigeria and say, Nigeria, you can get away with anything here, because you can get away with anything in other countries as well, I feel. Here might be a bit more pronounced. And when you say get away with, and if we're talking about things like infidelity, the only get away with is that we don't have a court that will make you pay
Child support.
spousal support and child
Exactly.
support. But it doesn't mean that Nigerian men are the only men that commit adultery.
The sense is, I guess, back home that if either partner has an affair, that's a bad thing. Do women turn a blind eye to men if they have affairs, if they have relationships, if they have another girlfriend, or has that sort of thing gone away now?
You know what? I don't think that necessarily women have ever turned a blind eye. What happens in the, behind closed doors? You have a lot of women probably finding out and punching the man, and slapping him, or refusing to make him dinner, or going on strike happily. And I think this is where it is for me. But it's fine. And I mean, people marry and divorce and find love elsewhere.
I also wanted to
You
add,
know?
because Buki was saying, you said that you feel sorry for strong women.
Oh, yeah.
And I think when it comes to masculinity, I sort of like link it to gender inequality as well. And in terms of successful women, I think men see that as a threat to their position in society, and they feel like for a successful woman, an ambitious woman, like you don't have to be too ambitious. You can be ambitious, but not too much of it, because to them they perceive it as a threat to you, to a potential husband, to the fact that they like threatening their position in society, basically.
There's a thing they actually say in some parts of Nigeria. Women and men, they'll say this. Can you be under a man? That's masculinity in
Yes.
a lot of places in Nigeria. Like to the female, they'll say, can you be under a man?
Are you sure?
Are
You'll be
you
able
sure
to submit.
you can submit to be under a man? You get? So the woman she has to be underneath
Yeah, and okay.
in all ways.
Well, you guys, you know what? I always think about the Proverbs woman, That chick wasn't weak.
She was not weak.
No, she wasn't.
Proverbs 31.
Yeah.
31 woman.
And they
Very
said because of
industrious.
her and her hard work, her
Yes.
husband was celebrated at the
yes,
days, right?
yes.
That's why my question.
Absolutely
That's why I
agree.
want to ask this question. Like when they say you're a man, who was who came up with the whole men have to be the ones to work? They have to be the ones to hunt. They have to be the ones to provide. Who came up with that?
No, from Genesis.
I
actually.
can give
From
you some.
Genesis itself.
Yeah.
God,
I can give you an answer.
God planted Adam.
Yes.
And when
Okay.
the reap was taking out, he told Adam what to do with
Of course,
Eve.
they continue.
So you would say that that's
This will be
where.
your helpmeet.
Yes.
So you'd say
Yeah,
that
okay.
that's where the qualities of being masculine came from.
I
Yeah,
could
yes.
I could give you a historical answer if you
Okay.
want. I can say.
please do so.
When we were cavemen and women, we were pretty equal. There was gender equality apparently when we were in the Flintstones. Because we gathered equal numbers of calories in the day. Men would be out hunting and often come back empty-handed.
Oh, wow.
Like I was so close to catching this tiger, and the women got the grains and the fruits, and there was equality, and it changed with farming 10 or 12,000 years ago, because then it became more about physical labour, and men became more dominant, and that got reinforced by religion. So that's
And in our culture, men figured, because of farming, so while that was happening on your side of the globe, on our side of the globe, the farms got bigger, and the men were like, who is going to help me? See, you only have how many sons? 2 sons. I need
So let me
10
marry.
sons.
Yeah, let me marry.
So I need to marry one more woman so that she can bring me more sons.
So
And then
yeah.
he gets 4 more sons, and then he needs another woman, and he needs another woman, and it starts a
then the farm
culture
keeps getting bigger.
of hey, I can
And the
marry
family.
more than one woman.
And
That
also-
started it. And then from then on, this is what continues today. However, there are no farms like that anymore. But the
Yeah.
men are still like, wait a second, I should be able to get away with marrying more than one woman, because I've got my digital farms, my mental farms, my fake farms. You know, like it's just
Yeah.
continuing.
do,
But that's where it
do
comes.
men still want to marry more than one
Absolutely,
woman?
and they still do it.
Some people
In modern day
You may not
cities.
say. You may
I'm
not say.
sorry, I think not.
Exactly. I think the other as well.
I don't think that because we've become very troublesome now. Yeah, we're a lot of trouble now. I don't think
I'm
they
just
want
imagining
to
all
live
5
with
of you
us.
as my wife.
No, you have a good time. Oh, you'll have such a good
Oh,
time.
I'd be so tired. I wouldn't get to speak all day.
No, you won't. You won't get to speak
And
at all.
you know, when it comes to gender inequality, I also wanted to talk about. I also wanted to talk about you know, the leadership position, because most men hold leadership position in Nigeria, whereas you know, few women hold leadership position. And to me, I think I question that, because it seems as though that you know, it's perceived as if you know, women
it
lack
takes.
the skills and the capability of governing, you know, the society and the people. Is that what we are, you know, saying? Because at the end of the day, if a man feels threatened, you know, because a woman is successful or whatever, it just shows that gender equality is a far cry in our society. And I feel like one of the ways that we can sort of like shift that would be, you know, men accepting the fact that just the same way that you want to be successful, the same way that I want to be successful. I mean, it doesn't seem that I'm trying to take your position as the, you know, the head of the family or whatever, but I just feel like we need to sort of like put that out there so that men don't feel like, you know, being a feminist is all about, you know, threatening you. And I also feel like, you know, feminism and, you know, women empowerment is not to threaten men. It's just to say that we have our right, we have our basic right, we have to be successful as well, and we need, if I choose to be ambitious, so be it. If I choose to be professionally successful and also have my own, and also have a family, so be. So I feel like we should stop giving women
And that's
too
good.
much options, like, you know, you either choose this or that. If I want both, then I should go for it.
That's beautiful. Now, speaking about masculinity, things have changed, right, ladies? From our father's times or our grandfather's
Have
times.
they really?
No, I'm getting into it. I'm getting somewhere because I want to ask, because if things, quote unquote, have changed, now what in this age determines masculinity? Because Buki HQ was saying something, and she was making very valid points. She was saying that today women pretty much do everything. If you get a woman's phone, on her phone you would see the number for the plumber, the number for the electrician, the number for the mechanic, the number for all these people that have to do, you know, work at home. Now, if the woman is, you know, focusing on all of that, she has all those responsibilities. What makes a man in this
So I
age?
mean, who's going to pay for the plumbing work though?
Okay, so is that what makes him a man?
No, I'm just wondering. He might be out there
Taking care of the finances.
Yeah, he might be out there taking care of the finances.
Okay.
And doing certain things.
But,
Okay.
But you would say everyone groaned when you said things have changed. Are you saying nothing has really changed since your grandparents'
We're not
time?
saying that nothing hasn't changed.
Well, what has changed? What's changed and what's
Or
not?
what's not changed?
More, okay, well, more women in the workforce in terms of managerial positions, in terms of leading organizations, that has changed significantly from back in the days. You've got more women in a position of authority, running organizations and what have you. But you see, still going back to what I said earlier on with regards to culture, this same woman who runs her own organization, who has like 1,000 members of staff at her beck and call, will still go back home and for certain tribes, they have their family meetings, and this same woman will not be able to voice her own opinion.
And
So
if she's not careful,
the irony.
and if she's not careful and she's with a really old school annoying tribe, because you know there's some of them, she will have to kneel down throughout.
She'd have to kneel down.
The meeting.
Yeah,
Yes.
throughout the meeting, yeah.
Throughout
She's
the
actually
meeting,
very-
kneel down there.
That's actually very
How
right.
who are you to be speaking? Elders are sitting here. Men are sitting here.
Does that still happen to you today?
To me,
Ify.
I'm not from an old school annoying tribe.
And then also to buttress what Buki said earlier about strong women being seen as a threat, being the men worrying over the situation that you got. Do you know how many times I've been told to be timid with regards to situations? I worked in corporate Nigeria for a couple of years before I dived into hospitality and entertainment. And sometimes you've got an opinion or you've got a suggestion, and they tell you to tell a male colleague.
Oh, wow.
No joke. And these are all educated men. Or you say something and they kind of like play it down.
Yes.
But guess what? By the time the whole review has been done, what you said is being pushed out like somebody else's agenda.
Somebody else takes the credit for it.
Yeah.
What about in a marriage or relationship?
I'm not married.
That really depends
the married
again on
ladies
who
will
you're
be-
married to.
Yeah.
It really, really depends on who you're married to. And sometimes it really also depends on who you're married to hangs out with. Who you're married to is advised by. You know what I mean?
So is your marriage based on equality?
My marriage is based on love. We love each other. That is a main core kini. So everything falls from there.
Let me ask you a question.
You'll do this. Now you'll allow me to do this, and you'll allow me to be this. That love is the thing that pushes. So equality and all that stuff kind of moves. It flows. It's fluid.
There's mutual respect.
It's
between
fluid.
one another.
Thank you. So there will be times when I'm gonna need to dial it down because of this love.
That
does not
doesn't
mean I'm going
mean
to
there's no
disrespect
equality.
myself. That means that doesn't mean there's no equality. That might just mean that for that time I have to be situationally. I might have to be an actress. You understand?
Yes.
Just okay, no problem. I'll act the role that you need me to roll, and same vice versa.
Does that love extend to maybe having equal chores in the house?
Good question.
And, when we first lived together, didn't marry right away, before marriage. I'm not advising this for you young girls out there. If you're listening, don't say, oh, Faith she was living there in sin for many years. After all, I can do the same thing. I don't advise it. It just, the move to marriage just becomes longer. So don't do it, girls, please. Yes, but we actually, at some point after, a couple fights, listen, I don't really like to do this. Do you like to do this? No? Okay, we're going to have to compromise. That's how we just been running things. I don't really want to do this. Would you like... So we've always had that kind of, fluid. And so it doesn't mean that it just happens overnight. It just... A lot of discussions, a lot of... If you really want me to be happy... Again, that's why I say love has to be the foundation. Because if culture is a foundation, you'll be very miserable. Because a lot of our cultures, a lot of the cultural practices... I'm sorry, guys, if this offends anyone, you know it yourself. It's outdated.
Oh, yeah.
It does not support women.
Yes.
It does, it keeps women down. So that, so I'm raising kids now, a boy and a girl, and I'm trying to remember that daily when I assign tasks, and I'm trying not to put so much on my daughter that I'm just like, oh, listen, you're gonna grow up one day, you're gonna be a wife, just go in the kitchen because that's where you're gonna end up. No, that's not where she's gonna end up. She's gonna end up there and other places. So I need to prepare her for those other places. And now for my boy, as a mother, what masculinity means to him, I'm not just going to hand it over to his father, to my husband, even though culturally that's what I'm supposed to do.
Yes.
But I know that intrinsically, instinctively, that's what we have all been doing, but that's wrong. Because when the men grow up, that's when we start complaining, oh, he's masculine, but he's a little too much of this and he's a little too much of that. So we women, I and a lot of other women have started realizing this, and we started realizing that to really create the perfect man, the woman has to be involved. As she is anyway, pushing him out. Hello, Push him out. Don't leave him out there to just be out there and just be swallowed up by the male-dominated society, because then he's not going to be that great to the woman in the future, including you, the mother.
I do agree with what Faith said, because it depends on the husband that you marry, because some men do believe that, you know, your job is to do the domestic chores. I feel like just the same way we encourage men to, you know, to get a career and do those stuff, we should also encourage men to participate in the home, because it's still your responsibility. It's not a favor, it's your responsibility to do these things.
Can I ask a question?
Tell that to a proper hardcore.
I know that's
good.
the thing.
Ladies, can I ask a
Nigerian
question?
man.
Because I do love the fact that we always want to, you know, put our voices out to tell the men that we also have ambition. You know, we should be allowed to do certain things. Now, would you push your daughter, for instance, to be a breadwinner in her home?
Is that
Faith
A
is-
breadwinner.
Yes.
I mean, for me, I would empower my daughter to be to do whatever she wants to do. Like, if you want to, you know, to have a company, to get a job, or to even be a housewife, if that's what you want to do, then go for it.
That's fine, but you
It's-
know when we're talking about masculinity, talking about how tradition has played a huge role in what determines a man in our society, and one major thing is a man should be the one to provide.
Yeah.
You know, a man should be the one to do this and do that. Now,
Yeah.
for women, would you say that we as well can take up the role as breadwinners?
Yes, we can.
Well, I mean, we do it already, but we do it so naturally, and we kind of hide it also, because we don't want to be seen as, oh, well, she's just what are
She's
you
taking,
showing
you
off?
know,
You
the
trying
guy's
to be a
position,
man?
yeah.
Yeah,
I
you
think
trying to be
certain
you know.
circumstances dictate that these women or women tend to rise up and become breadwinners. It's not in all scenarios or in all situations.
Yes.
Because sometimes you find that for some reason, probably the guy got into a bad deal, or their issues
Or
basically
lost his
surround,
job
or
or
lost his job.
business.
And I think a lot of the women I know, and a lot of the women I've interacted with over the years, and also with the way I've been brought up, because I have only brothers actually, I grew up with men, is to always rise up to the challenge, so to speak.
How does
the
it affect?
situation.
I mean, you have a very kind of rich, poor society here. You know, you have millionaires and oil money and
Yes.
that sort of stuff. How are the men different when they're either very rich or very poor?
Oh, so different.
Can you tell me, like, in terms of their attitudes, the
So
way they date,
different.
the way they carry themselves?
So different. I mean, the very rich. I'm sorry if you're very rich and you're listening. Arrogant, egotistical. I can do anything. I can get away with it. I own people. Like, they just over the top.
Sorry, Faith.
You know.
Tim, I'd like to ask, are you talking based on how they are towards women or how they are in general?
Yeah, a bit of both. I mean, I wonder whether, because I guess their general attitude must affect how they treat women. So, you know, if you go on a date, for example, with a very, very wealthy guy,
Yeah.
how would that date go?
I mean, it depends though, because just the same way Faith said that. Did you say all rich men or
I didn't
some
say
rich
all.
men?
She
I
didn't
didn't
say
say
all.
Okay, so
Why would
I
say
feel
all?
like
Like,
no,
that
despite
generalized.
the fact that, you know, we're saying that some men are, despite the fact that we're saying that some men don't believe in gender equality, there's some men that do believe in gender equality as well. There's some men that encourages their you know, wives or their girlfriends
And
or
their
their
daughters.
sisters or their daughters, you know, to get a career, have a career, go out there, you know, go to school, you know, like do things with your life, you know, you live out there. But I think the same way we encourage men to, you know, to get a job, we should also encourage men to participate in the house as well. And yeah, I know, you know, we laugh
No,
about it, but
it's
it's
true.
true.
You're right, especially for the upcoming men. The men who are already stuck in their ways, good luck with that. You asked a question, and I want to go back to it. How different are the men at the top versus the men, you know,
Yes.
who are poorer? The men who are poor, depending on the culture again, the men who are poorer sometimes could just be just as bad, by the way. Like
if
in
not
terms
worse.
of, if not worse, because now they've got a frustration and like what is it, chip on the shoulder.
Yes.
So they're even extra vulnerable. So where the guy who's like super rich is, you know, like he can look at an issue and just say, oh, this is an issue. The guy who's poor is like, oh my God, you're talking down to me because what you earn
Because
more?
because I'm poor.
because I'm
I think
poor,
the money
you know?
actually helps as well to an extent.
Yeah, it
So
does.
money-
But you know, there's this saying that goes. I think a fool with money is a rich fool. So if you're a fool before the money,
Yes.
when you have the money, you're still a fool. So even if you are rich and you are poor, like he said, culture, they might still have that same mentality. And mentality, money doesn't take away mentality.
But I mean, there are so many cultures, as you've said here in Nigeria. Is it possible to stereotype and say, well, certain cultures are more progressive and certain cultures are more traditional?
I really think that that's where education plays a huge role and exposure, right? So where your culture might be less progressive, but because you've been educated, you've been exposed, and you've, you know, basically gone through a lawsuit or two, you're like, oh, yeah, I'm pretty laid back about that, you know? But you know what's really interesting to me is looking at one man, who has two sides to him in terms of the way he looks at masculinity and the way he treats women. So to his daughters, he might be very laid back and open and say, right, I want you to go for the world and get what you need to get and don't be held back by your sex. While to his own wife, the mother of that same daughter, he could be completely different. He could just be like, nope, stay 2 steps behind me, stay in the kitchen, and don't let me see your face ever unless you're serving me a meal.
What would you want to change about Nigerian men? If there's one thing you could change.
Infidelity.
That's everywhere. I'm sorry.
I know it's everywhere, but like you said, I feel like these men are not accountable.
Well, you know,
if you know that you are going
It's
to
not
pay,
against the law.
if you know you're going to pay that amount of money when your wife decides to divorce you, I think it will help you, it will control
I
you to an
totally
extent.
get that. But,
To an extent.
So you'd bring in some alimony.
Exactly, because I feel
Child support.
like now the way men cheat, sometimes they do it without. I'm not even trying to make this. I'm not saying that it's allowed, though. They're not accountable.
Who are they cheating with? They're cheating with women on women. So you see, the thing is, this infidelity issue for me, it's a very thin line because I know so many women as well who thread that line, who do exactly what these guys are doing, and they're married women. So you know, let's just.
So can we you know, because this is going to be like
I think when it comes to that,
yes.
it has to be a personal
So,
thing.
yes,
for you.
yes.
What are your morals? Like, what do you believe in? What are your values? Do you want to do this? I don't think we can properly generalize that. That's everybody. You deal with that stuff.
That's true. That's true.
But look, I just wanted to tell Tim if he decides to marry all 5 of us, I'll just tell you what everyone does
I'm
here.
pretty close to asking.
So, she in the red here, she'll pray for you every morning, and she'll be your voice of reasoning, and she'll kill you with quotes. And she kills me with quotes, and I'm a girl.
Okay, then go to Ayana.
She will settle all disputes amongst all the wives, and this is Iffy.
Yeah.
Will settle all the disputes amongst us. Ayana will make sure that you're well fed. Any birthdays will be properly organized, and you will eat very well.
Oh gosh.
And Faith will fight you on our behalf. You forget to give us an allowance, you forget to buy us anything for our birthdays, you're dead with her. With me, my darling. We will be in all the best parties.
I love that.
I will be in. No, I'm kidding.
I love that. All right, ladies.
I mean, I think I'm good. I mean, I think
You're okay with it.
You're great.
I'd get down on one knee, but for 5 of you, I'd probably. So you can be
Stop
Monday,
that.
Tuesday, okay?
Oh wow!
I love that.
She can be whoever she wants to be. She can iron. She can be independent. Because that's how my father raised me. But I'm not going to tell her that, oh, listen, no, I'm raising you so that you can sit down one day and marry the richest guy you can find. No, dude, who's doing that? Like, what if he dies?
Can I ask a question?
And then he doesn't leave a will.
Yeah,
or he's 80 years old and all his first family takes all the money.
Faith history.
Then she's,
I like your take on that. You know, so you're telling her what to do. Would you tell her not to be a breadwinner? Would you, as you're advising her?
Life will tell her that.
Nobody chooses
my
that.
job. Yeah, nobody. My job is to just prepare her for whatever comes. It's not my job to tell her you're gonna be the breadwinner or you shouldn't be the breadwinner, because life can do that to her, and I might not be here then. I might be gone. If that's her choice and that's what life has put in front of her, I would never advise her not to step up. She must step up, because it is part of our jobs as women to be a helpmeet.
Exactly.
Sometimes that requires you being the breadwinner for a moment. And that's fine. There's nothing wrong with it. Don't let it go to your head. It is what it is. Just do it and keep it moving. Keep praying for your husband. Keep supporting him. Keep pushing him. And before you know it, he'll be back up supporting you. And you guys will be co-breadwinners. It doesn't even need to be like one person. Like, come on now. We've been raised to feel like, oh, let the guy bring all the money.
Yes.
I like to bring some of the money.
Yeah.
It makes me feel good. I'm a Capricorn. I love bringing the money. Are you kidding me?
Would you love to bring most of the money?
No. I like to keep a lot of my money.
Exactly, that's what I'm talking about. You don't want to bring most of the money.
No,
but you
I don't
like.
bring most of the money. I bring some of the money.
No, but can I tell you guys? You see this marriage business.
That's what I'm talking about.
This marriage business is a partnership, and while the man brings, in a lot of the money and everything, you have to prepare.
I feel
meant to provide for that.
I think she's trying to echo what Faith was saying. You know when she was saying when life happens. Maybe that's where Ugoma is coming from.
No, that one fine.
That's what she's talking about.
But I'm just saying that it shouldn't be a message generally that, what, if you're making more money as a female,
No.
No. When life
So now, Buki, who
because
puts,
you know what?
Who puts
I
that
won't even
rule?
tell you.
I
You're making more
know.
money.
Buki, who puts that rule that it's the man? Even if you're making more money or less money, it's the man that provides. So we're going according to God.
Yeah, we've always done
And that's okay.
I'm sticking with farming.
You're sticking with farming.
Farming.
And I feel like
That's good for you guys. Bye.
the rest of us. Okay, so let's say, for instance, let's take out religion, right? And then
Yes.
let's just look at,
Farming, like
Yeah.
he said.
let's just look at economics,
Okay.
which is farming, and let's look at, what it really takes. So you've got your husband, you've got your wife, you guys are together, you're a partnership, I hope. But our culture is still teaching not the partnership, which is why there's a lot of breakdown, because our culture is teaching woman, relax. It's your husband's job to provide for you. So even if you have the money, hide your money and let him do the provision, right? Like that's his job. It doesn't matter if he's able to do it well. It doesn't matter if you're able to do it better. It doesn't matter.
When you look at women in the West,
Yes.
in Britain and America, Scandinavia, I guess where from the outside they might have more equality and more rights and can achieve more in politics and in business. Do you think, that's what I want, or do you think maybe women in the West have actually gone too far?
They've gone too far.
Really?
And I'll say this,
I don't
not
think
just
so.
in an economic way.
Okay.
I think in the way of, listen, I don't need a man, because that's the rhetoric in especially African American women. I'm generalizing, so don't hate me if you're listening and you're African American, but I'm just saying, like, generally now it's gone way to the other side of I don't need a man. So the men are like, oh, you don't need a man, you don't need me, no problem. That little Spanish lady over there needs me. Becky with the good hair needs me. I'll go over there. And then she's right there swinging her hair, and somehow the bus stops and everything is well again. And you're like, wait a second, I've got all my degrees and I'm fine, and I don't need a man. And then the Nigerian man comes down off the bus, and you're like, you gonna pay my bus fare? I'm following you home. Well, guess what? He's got 4 other wives. Bye.
Faith history. Now when you say I don't need a man.
No, you know what? I think that each case is different. Again, some people say I don't need a man, and that can come from a place of bad experiences.
Very true.
That can come from a place of even their environment. If I lived in, sorry for anyone who lives in Inglewood, but if I lived in Inglewood,
In the hood.
where there's drive-by shootings, I'm not gonna need a man in that
From that area.
because you might die tomorrow morning.
guys that are in
I
jail.
can't deal with that. So I think there might be different reasons for that.
Here on 91.3 Lagos. So if you want to come to the wedding, tweet us.
No, I should
This
be.
is-
The whole of Lagos. No, I should be.
Do you
No,
want
I
to should be?
No, I should be.
He doesn't know
We're
what
just
should
gonna
be.
call colors.
I don't know what you mean.
It's like when
I
we're
will be the
coordinating with
mother of the
clothes.
day.
We have to wear the same clothes.
Oh, you're
Coordinate.
marrying.
For me, absolutely fascinating, and it's been great. Thank you so much for having me here. And this is like a radio show that we do in Britain or America. This is kind of cool, and
Lovely.
I've left her in one piece, so that's a good
Oh,
sign.
okay, that's good.
Thank you.
So when should we be expecting, because you're working on this project, how long is this going to take you? How far are you going? Is it just Nigeria that you're using when it comes to Africa, or you're going to other countries?
Just Nigeria here, and then
Okay.
India.
And then India.
Oh, I
Yes.
wish you were checking out Ghana.
Why Nigeria?
I have been.
Why Nigeria?
I've been to Ghana. I made a BBC TV documentary
Okay.
which went to Ghana and looked at the impact of pornography there,
No way, we have that.
Oh,
which was
majorly.
unbelievable.
No.
It was
What?
Western pornography, which was making its way into kind of very remote areas,
Remote
like
areas.
up near Tamale.
Tamale,
Yeah,
yes.
Tamale. Sorry, and there was a huts without electricity, and once a month they'd bring in a generator, put the electricity on, and turn one of the huts into a porn cinema.
No, you're kidding me.
And then bad things happened. You know.
Oh my
then,
God.
You know, it wasn't nice, but it was just crazy. And there were marriages of 30 years which were breaking up because they'd been exposed to Western pornography.
Oh, wow.
So it was looking
You're
at that.
asking me to do what?
In remote areas. That's interesting.
Yeah. So
Quite
I've been to
Wow.
Accra and Tamale.
All right, Tim. It was
Thanks-
lovely
thank you
having
so much.
you here. Definitely.
Thanks,
We
Iffy.
expect that you come back some other time, very soon.
And if you come to
Did
London,
you get the answers?
Definitely.
that you were
I got
asking?
a lot of answers.
Oh,
A lot of
that's
answers.
beautiful.
Thank you.
Glad we were able
And
to
thanks
help.
to your listeners.
Yeah.
Thanks. All right, ladies, very quickly, before you sign
I
out.
have an amazing quote.
Oh my
today.
God.
The quotes. All right, quickly, ladies.
So, I'm